The big rigs are on the circuit. I would like to find out more about Ryan Steele's little pocket rocket there. I'd love to know what engine that's got under the bonnet. But back to the track, and it is the big rigs on track. The first of 3 races today for the British Truck Racing Championship, and this is a partially reversed grid based on the results of race 1 yesterday. First race of the season was won by the all-new truck of 6-time consecutive Division 1 champion Ryan Smith, and he was all set to win race 2 as well, but then he tangled with a back marker on the final corner of the race, went over the gravel, and David Jenkins said, "Thank you very much, I'll go up the inside and take the win." So a controversial ending to race 2 yesterday. It's race 1 that has set the grid for this race, namely the top 8 finishers in each division are flipped around. It's a partially reversed grid lining up for this one. Division 1 lining up at the front, the less powerful, less modified Division 2 trucks start behind them. We'll have a look at the grid lineup in just a second. In pole position, it is the number 95, 8th place finisher yesterday. That was Ricky Collett. Good to see him back out, the heavy haulage company owner from Yorkshire. Alongside number 46, the youngest man in the race, Bradley Smith, at the wheel of his MAN. Second row, Craig Reed, number 68, last year's Division 2 champion, now in Division 1 with his Iveco, alongside David Jenkins in the black and white MAN number 69. MAN, the numerically dominant mark in the series. Row 3, pair of MANs, 81 Mark Taylor and number 18 of John Newell. Row 4, the 10 times champion and one-time European champion, number 7 Stuart Oliver with his bonneted Volvo VNL. Mr. British Truck Racing, some call him, but his crown could be challenged. Ryan Smith going for his 7th straight title this year, and he's alongside him, truck number 1, the 2 bonneted trucks together in the truck with the Daimler-Benz, effectively a Mercedes chassis, but with the Bagheera Freightliner body shell on top. Really is a spectacular, very beautiful looking machine, that one. Row 5, we've got number 12, Michael Oliver, son of Stuart, in his MAN. Alongside Tom O'Rourke, the boss of MV Commercials, one of the main sponsors of the championship, the Scotsman in his MAN, number 86. Row 6, number 92, Simon Faulkner, newcomer over the last few meetings in his Iveco, made his debut at Pembrey last year. He starts alongside the former Division 2 champion Stephen Powell in his MAN, had a slightly tough debut in Division 1 yesterday, the number 3. And at the back of the field, number 89, Simon Reed. Of course, the top 8 reversed in the division. Simon Reed missed race 1 yesterday. Race 2 from yesterday sets the grid for the second race today, race 4 of the weekend, slightly different to last year. Then we've got the Division 2 trucks, and they are fully reversed because there are only 7 of them. John Bowler, number 14, his very patriotically liveried number 14 truck starts on pole alongside the former champion, number 42, Luke Garrett. Good to see him back in the series, contested the European Championship last year. Alongside him, next row, number 10, Craig Evans, and 32, Jock Borthwick, was leading yesterday's race until he spun. The third row of Division 2, number 16, Brad Smith with his DAF, and number 6, double winner yesterday, John Powell. And at the back of the field, it looks like it is there, number 5, Adam Bint with the Volvo White Aerodyne. He was involved in a collision with Brad Smith in the second race yesterday. I'm told the team were up past 1 a.m. overnight working to fix that Volvo so he could get out there today. Been a disappointing weekend so far for Bint Racing. Binty failed to finish, he was still running at the end of race 1, but after a pit visit he didn't complete enough laps to be classified. He was about 5 laps down after rejoining and then collided with Brad Smith and went out of race 2. But he is there. I can just see the black, white and orange Volvo at the very back of this 20 truck grid. We've got them all there. Capacity grid of trucks about to be led away by the DAF pace truck. This will be a 15-minute race. If you've not seen truck racing before, then you've got a real treat coming up. These 5-ton beasts with 12, 13-litre engines, water-cooled brakes, limited to a maximum speed. They're limited electronically to 100 miles an hour for safety reasons. Of course, on the road, your typical HGV is limited to 56 miles an hour. A lot of these drivers have connections to the road haulage industry. If ever you're driving down the motorway and you see a rather rapid lorry, just think it could be one of these drivers. Tom O'Rourke a bit slow away there for the rolling start in the 86 truck. I love the new livery on John Bowler's truck there, number 14. What a fine sight they make in front of the big crowd in the sunshine of Brands Hatch. the official pace truck leads them round for the rolling start. Ricky Collett in pole position. Runs a haulage company specialising in some of the heaviest loads transported on Britain's roads. If you see one of those great big oversized loads with escorts from the police and pusher trucks and so on, it might well be Ricky Collett's haulage company that's handling it. He's on pole. Good to see him back out. We didn't see him race last year. Alongside Bradley Smith. Yes, we've got Bradley Smith and Brad Smith, just to avoid confusion. There are two of them out there. Brad Smith is further back in the number 16 in Division 2. One win each yesterday for Ryan Smith and David Jenkins. Ryan coming so close to a double win, but clipped a back marker on the final corner and went over the gravel. What's going to happen this time with the reverse grid thrown into the mix? Ready for the third of 5 truck races this weekend. The convoy heads round towards Clearways. Stephen Powell, you notice, with a bit of bodywork damage from yesterday's second race. John Bowler and Luke Garrett heading up the Division 2 trucks. Here we go then, waiting for the red lights to go out. The power about to come on from the big rigs. Here we go. Good start by John Newell, trying to get down the outside of the number 18. They surely can't go 3 wide into Paddock Hill Bend. Looks like Bradley Smith has got the advantage, but Ricky Collett is there on the inside. They plunge down Paddock Hill Bend. What a magnificent sight that makes. Division 1 is led by Ricky Collett. He's held the inside line from pole position. Division 2 led by John Bowler in the number 14. So 2 of our returnees to racing this year. Oh, Michael Oliver on the grass there on the inside. You can't go 3 wide round Druids, surely. And Stephen Powell's going to be tagged on the outside there. I think that was by Tom O'Rourke. Already a great start by Ryan Smith. He's up into 5th position from the 4th row of the grid. Craig Reed a bit slow away there in the 68 in the Iveco, last year's Division 2 champion. They're all away cleanly. Ryan Smith tucks in. It's Ricky Collett who leads. David Jenkins up into 2nd place. Bradley Smith 3rd. John Newell 4th. Smith is 5th. They start to sort themselves out. Simon Faulkner dropping to the back. Looks like Luke Garrett's taken the lead of Division 2 as they come round to complete the first lap, and David Jenkins on the attack on the inside of Ricky Collett. He's going to take the lead as they head over the line for the first time. Jenkins leads the 2 MANs side by side as they head into paddock for the second time. It's the Digraph Transport and Morris Lubricants MAN of David Jenkins. The man from Stafford takes the lead from Ricky Collett. The Yorkshireman trying to fight back. John Newell under fire from Ryan Smith. Bradley Smith caught on the outside in the 46, the Ferns Group truck. He drops down to 5th. Then it's one of the Reed brothers. Very similar looking Ivecos for those two. Can't tell which one it was there at the moment. It's Craig Reed in there in the 68, under fire from Mark Taylor in the 81. Goes over the curb on the inside. Then we've got Stuart Oliver in the number 7. Mark Taylor clipped there by Stuart Oliver. I think he went sideways. Leaders come into Surtees. Leading the Division 2 field is Luke Garrett ahead of John Bowler and Stuart Oliver on the grass. He's had a bit of a bumping match there with Mark Taylor. Behind them, Michael Oliver, son of Stuart, father and son, sandwiching the number 81, the Taylor's Haulage MAN. So a little bit of bump and run around the first couple of laps. Start to settle in now as David Jenkins beginning to go clear, but his arch rival Ryan Smith in 4th place in that lovely looking bonneted truck, the Daimler Freightliner as I believe it's officially known as. He's chasing John Newell in the number 18, the man from near Barnsley with his MAN. Returned to truck racing after several years away while he built up his business. Back in the 1990s originally, chased here by Ryan Smith. They're closing on Ricky Collett. Had a lot of engine issues over the last few years with that MAN, Ricky Collett. We haven't seen him out until today, since 2020 at Thruxton when he rolled that MAN, would you believe, after hitting a tyre wall. Here's Ryan Smith up the outside in the number 1, going for title number 7 this year. Bradley Smith holding off Craig Reed behind them. Then it's the Olivers and Mark Taylor, and look at Ryan Smith up the outside towards Paddock Hill Bend. This is going to be brave. They're going to go 3 wide down to paddock. Goodness me. This is going to be for the very brave indeed. Who's going to come out of this in 2nd place? All this letting David Jenkins escape at the front. And Ryan Smith perhaps thinks better of it. He'll cut back to the inside and have a go at John Newell into Druids. Swings to the inside. He might get the move done here at Druids, Ryan Smith. Yes, that's a good bit of driving. showing why he is a 6-time champion, Ryan Smith. Ricky Collett a bit sideways there. Smith will have a go. No, there isn't room on the inside at Graham Hill Bend to get past the 95. And he's rather the cork in the bottle here, Ricky Collett, and allowing David Jenkins there. You can see the length of the Cooper straight in front now. But here comes flying Ryan Smith. Again, he comes. Oh, John Newell, a bit late on the brakes there. He's off over the grass. Look out as he rejoins. We saw this with Mark Taylor and David Jenkins at the end of last year here at Brands Hatch, but Newell gets it under control. Oh, he's hit Stuart Oliver. Oh, I thought he had it under control there and was able to get the truck stopped, but no, he's straight into the side of Stuart Oliver. Disaster towards the back in Division 1. That's put Bradley Smith up into 4th place. Then we've got Craig Reed, and once you get a truck onto the track, onto the grass like that off the track, it is a struggle to control it. I thought John Newell was going to be able to get it under control and swing back into the race there, but couldn't quite manage to do so. Harpoon Stuart Oliver and takes out the number 7. We'll see a replay of that in just a moment. Hopefully we'll see what happened. John Newell just got wide there onto the grass. He missed his braking point for Surtees. The truck sliding all over the place. It looked as though he got it slowed down and gathered it up as he came across the infield, but he hadn't quite managed to slow it down enough. And as he came back onto the track, Stuart Oliver was there, walloped straight into the side of the Volvo. Bits of, I think that's come off the Volvo in the gravel trap there. That'll be the end of Stuart Oliver's race, whatever it is. The race continuing. Stuart Oliver's got the number 7 back into the pits. That'll be the end of his race. Quite a bit of damage to the right-hand side. There's a tank of some sort that came off there. I think it was possibly an air tank that came off the Volvo in the gravel trap. Other debris there as well. This is Division 2 further back. John Newell has got going again in the number 18 behind Adam Bint. So the order is now Jenkins from Ryan Smith. Ricky Collett's been passed by Bradley Smith and Craig Reed meanwhile, so Collett falling back. Next is Mark Taylor, Stephen Powell and Michael Oliver now upholding family honour. Division 2 is still led by Luke Garrett in the orange number 42. Twice a champion in Division 2. Racing on the continent last season in the European Truck Racing Championship. Sadly doesn't visit the UK anymore. Used to be one of the biggest events of the year, certainly at Donington Park when the European Championship came over. Lots of Gert Korber, Kurt Goranson, British heroes like Richard Walker, and of course Stuart Oliver in later years. Stop before I get too nostalgic. Concentrate on the race in hand. There is the rather battered MAN of Stephen Powell, number 3. Lives just down the road from Brands Hatch, literally. Almost within earshot of the circuit, the Powell family. Chased by Michael Oliver in the number 12. Mark Taylor on the back of the yellow 95 of Ricky Collett. Further back there's Simon Reed and Tom O'Rourke. I think Stuart Oliver may have rejoined. Yes, he's come back out of the pits. Oh, we've got problems there. Adam Bint has pulled over, the number 5 in trouble again. No points on the board as yet for him. Here's our Division 2 leader, this man, number 42. Luke Garrett, the king of Division 2 for a few years. Yep, Adam Bint pulled over on Halewood Hill. He's out of it. Disastrous first weekend of the season for Bint Racing. You can see the Division 2 is not that far behind Division 1. There's Simon Faulkner running at the tail of Division 1. Luke Garrett is 12th overall. Brad Smith up there, number 16. The Unity Recovery and Midland Truck Breakers DAF in 2nd place. New livery for this year, and a new livery for John Bowler for his comeback after a couple of years away. The Union Flag livery DAF there, ahead of Jock Borthwick in the white truck, the Scotsman. He led Division 2 until pretty much the last lap yesterday when he spun coming into Druids. Talking of Druids, Mark Taylor's about to spin at Druids. Oh dear. Off goes the 81. Well, he was attacking a couple of trucks there. Ricky Collett was one of them, but just lost it under braking there. So a few spinners in this race so far. Have a look at that again. Mark Taylor was up on the outside. He was trying to defend from Michael Oliver in there as well. Tried to go to the outside. I think he braked too late there. And round goes the Taylor's haulage. MAN just drops the back wheels into the gravel. He should get out from there though and be able to continue. Stuart Oliver is back on track despite that damage. The mechanics have checked it, you can see, and done a bit of a running repair. Still going. There is Stephen Powell chasing Ricky Collett a bit further ahead. So the order is still David Jenkins leading from Ryan Smith, but Ryan Smith just on the fastest lap, 59.417. We've got 6.5 minutes to go. So Ryan Smith could well catch David Jenkins here. There's 5.8 seconds between the two of them at the line last time through, because of course they were bottled up behind the likes of Ricky Collins, and that allowed Jenkins after his quick start to get away. Bradley Smith is still going great guns up there in third in the 46, looking for his first podium. There goes Ryan Smith, we just caught a glimpse of him. There's Bradley Smith, he's another 5.8 seconds back off Ryan Smith, no relation. Then it's Craig Reed, there's Ricky Collins, Stephen Powell, Michael Oliver, Simon Reed, the older of the two brothers, from their freight company based in Stoke-on-Trent. And then Stuart Oliver, he's of course a lap down after calling into the pits, well, a couple of laps down actually. Great drive by Bradley Smith, made his Division 1 debut at the end of last season. Son of Tony Smith, who raced under number 46 for a few years. Luke Garrett continues to set the pace in Division 2. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of Brad Smith. Ricky Collins still under fire from Stephen Powell, the 2020 Division 2 champion. And where is John Powell, the other of the family? He's down in 5th in Division 2. 2 wins yesterday, but hasn't been able to come through the Division 2 pack today. A subdued race for the number 6 DAF. It does seem that the Dutch DAFs are slightly more numerically dominant in Division 2 than the MANs. 5 minutes to go. Now what's the gap this time through? David Jenkins going over the line at the moment. Ryan Smith is still 5 seconds back, but he's slowly but surely catching a few tenths of a second a lap, but I think he's going to run out of time at Jenkins' current pace to catch the Staffordshire driver. Stephen Powell goes to the outside of Ricky Collins. See, that truck is not quite as quick as the rest of them, but there's a premium in passing places here at Brands. That's the yellow light on there at paddock. I think that's because of Adam Bint's stranded truck as a warning there to the rest of the field. He's the only retirement so far. Stuart Oliver still going at the tail of the field, a couple of laps down. There's our race leader. We haven't forgotten about David Jenkins, going for win number 2 of the season. This will put him into the championship lead ahead of Ryan Smith. They've been big rivals on track over the last few years, those two. What's the gap going to be this time? It was 5 seconds. Jenkins has gone over the line. 4.6 seconds, so Smith closing at the rate of a few tenths of a second a lap. We watch the midfield battle. This is for 5th position, headed up by Ricky Collins. A bit smoky, the 95 there. Stephen Powell to the outside, but again, Ricky Collins just holding the Optimum Racing line. They can't get past him. Simon Reed coming through. Now there's John Newell in what's left of his MAN, chasing Brad Smith as he tries to move back up the order through the Division 2 trucks. Side by side between Collins and Powell. Simon Reed behind them. Chased by the Olivers. Son ahead of father, but Stewart, of course, a couple of laps down. And Michael Oliver doing a bit of grass tracking there around Graham Hill Bend. I hope his dad didn't put the bumper in on him there. Take your frustrations out on your son, Stuart Oliver. He's going to get back into the battle. He may as well do a bit of racing as he's back out there, having a go at Simon Reed in the 89. Good to have Simon back out. Didn't see him race last year, been busy with the family freight business. Again, Stephen Powell goes to the outside. The gap is down to 4 seconds now between Jenkins and Ryan Smith. They've dropped Bradley Smith, he's 10 seconds further back in third, but on for his first Division 1 podium by the look of things. They pass the stranded truck of Adam Bint. The hill again to Druids. Simon Reed having a look in the Iveco Stralis. Stuart Oliver trying to get around the outside of them there at Druids. Stuart Oliver, of course, briefly appeared in the British Touring Car Championship in the mid-2000s in a Lexus IS200. A car which was not a success, sadly, in touring car racing. Stephen Powell gets a wheel onto the grass. He's determined to get past Ricky Collins here, the ever-entertaining Yorkshireman. Somebody's gone wide at paddock. That great cloud of dust, that was probably John Bowler. Yes, you can see the dust on the side of his number 14 truck, chased by Craig Evans in his second full season in the championship, another Staffordshire-based racer. There is another of them, David Jenkins, being reeled in by Ryan Smith at 90 seconds on the clock. I think Smith's going to run out of time to catch Jenks here. 3.3 seconds is the gap. Although Ryan did just do the fastest lap of the race, 58.888 seconds. There is the bonneted Daimler Freightliner. And he's pushing hard. He knows there's just over a minute left. He's been signalled by his pit crew. He's got to push as hard as he can to catch David Jenkins here. Winner of this race out of those two will be leading the championship, with 2 races still to go this weekend. Still this battle going on. They can't get past Ricky Collett, can they? It's a road train as they head through Surtees and McLaren. 5 trucks, soon be 6 because Tom O'Rourke's closing as well. There's some bits of Stuart Oliver's truck. He'll stop and pick those up, I think, on the slowdown lap. Looks like we are on the last lap now. Another fastest lap for Ryan Smith. He's got the gap down to just over 2 seconds now as Stephen Powell goes for the outside into paddock. Then he's getting impatient here. Oh, and that's John Bowler going off. There are the leaders going past him. He's gone off at Graham Hill Bend. The 2 leaders together as they come into Surtees and McLaren. There is David Jenkins. Now, is it going to be checkered flag this time? I'm not sure if they'll get one more lap out of this. Jenks wants to see the checkered flag this time because Ryan Smith is closing up on him. You can see the Freightliner behind him. The clock goes to 0, so it looks like it is going to be checkered flag this time. Over the line they go, and David Jenkins takes the win. Second for Ryan Smith. He got the gap down to 1.224 seconds in the end. Just ran out of time to catch Jenks there. Good race between the Division 1 boys. Now, who's going to be third? It's going to be Bradley Smith or Craig Reed. Still the battle going on further back, and Stephen Powell is determined to get up alongside Ricky Collett. Bradley Smith has taken third ahead of Craig Reed. It's going to be a photo finish for 5th, and Stephen Powell has done it. Right on the line by 0.07 of a second. Stephen Powell snatches 5th, right on the line from Ricky Collett. Simon Reed 7th, then Michael Oliver is 8th. Tom O'Rourke and Mark Taylor, after his spin, complete the top 10. Well, great race there for 5th position. Stephen Powell was determined to get past Ricky Collett, and he finally managed it right in the last few feet of the race. That was brilliant. David Jenkins, our race winner, celebrating with a spectacular power slide for the fans. Well done, David Jenkins. That puts him into the lead of the Division 1 points provisionally. We'll confirm the results in a moment. There's John Bowler, the double winner in Division 2 yesterday, the blue DAF, number 6 there. We didn't really see much of him in that race. A subdued drive for John. We'll confirm the provisional results in just a moment. For our 3rd truck race of the weekend, David Jenkins the winner from Ryan Smith by 1.269 seconds. Ryan just ran out of time to catch his rival there for the victory. Bradley Smith, his best ever results in Division 1 in 3rd place. And Craig Reed taking 4th. Stephen Powell just pipping Ricky Collett with that outside move off clearways for the last time for 5th. Then Simon Reed, Michael Oliver, Tom O'Rourke and Mark Taylor recovering from his spin to take 10th ahead of Simon Faulkner. John Newell racing back up to 12th after that collision with Stuart Oliver. The winner of Division 2 was Luke Garrett, his first win of his comeback season, in 13th overall ahead of Brad Smith and Jock Borthwick. And then behind them was John Powell, 4th in the class ahead of Craig Evans. John Bowler, despite that off on the last lap, finishing in 18th place, 6th in class. Stuart Oliver finishing 2 laps down in 19th after calling into the pits to fix that damage. And one retirement, sadly, we lost Adam Binks. But it's now time to head down to Parc Ferme and hear from some of our truck racers. And in position, as always, down in Parc Ferme is our man Pointy. Over to you, Pointy.
Oh, hi. Put that down. Welcome back to Parc Ferme. Well, the paddock down here at Brands Hatch on Sunday, which we just had a very, very exciting first race of the day. A bit of slap and tickle earlier on in the race. Saw quite a jumble, but no massive crash. Reverse grid, first one of the weekend, but we didn't see any red flags on the first corner. But just driving past us now, we see the 21-year-old Bradley Smith taking his first trophy in Division 1 ever. So I think we need to go down into Parc Ferme and have a word with the young lad, shall we? Now, I'm going to make sure Keys, the cameraman, doesn't get run over. So if we stay to the left, Keys, we should be all right. Ricky Collett looking like he's had a much better race this time. Hardly any technical trouble. Kept it on the track, which is obviously good, considering his heritage. We see over there, though, in the distance, the Fern-sponsored MAN of Bradley Smith. So this is his first championship in Division 1, doing quite well in Division 2 last year. Managed to have a couple of races in the truck before the end of the season. Getting out of his truck now, let's catch him before he disappears and gets too much admiration from his loving other half. Sorry, girls, it's already taken. Bradley, absolutely shake your hand, sir. Absolutely fantastic effort. That is incredible. First podium of the weekend. First podium in Division 1. The big boys, you're here.
Oh man, it's such a good feeling. Got a good start. Got pushed back a couple of positions, and then John Newell broke himself and went off. So I got up, and then Ricky made a mistake out clear ways. So I managed to get alongside Ricky and outbrake him. I was up in third, and then Craig Reed started haunting me down, and he was all over the back of me, and I was making silly mistakes, and I thought, no, I just got in the zone.
But that goes to show, as much as it is your first year in Division 1, what driving skill you've actually got. Because anybody could say, oh, well, it was reverse grid, you started nearer the front. But I would argue that we have plenty of drivers out there on the circuit that start dead first and always end up very far back. So to hold it there with drivers so much more experienced than yourself, that's got to put a spring in your step.
Yes, yeah, it's obviously a good feeling. Obviously, like, so much talent in Division 1, so many really experienced drivers. And
there's some more talent in Division 1 now, man. I tell you, some more talent.
I'm going from, just got to keep learning every time I'm getting out. I'm just learning, and just hopefully get some more podiums this weekend.
Hopefully so. I can't wait to hand out a trophy to you, buddy. It's going to be a pleasure for me as much as it is for you. So the truck's obviously going great. We didn't see any issues out there whatsoever.
No, I was struggling yesterday towards the end of the last race. Grip on the front end. Last 3 laps was horrible, but my mechanic Joe is the man. He's got his head around it, and it's good to go.